Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senators. SB 189 would create the Committee on Maximizing Jobs and Economic Growth. This committee, which will consist of experts in the fields of economics, finance, and policy, will advise state agencies tasked with implementing greenhouse gas emission reduction and energy efficient policies. The goal of this committee is to ensure that there's a focus on job creation as California works toward making our environment healthier. Research shows that clean energy and climate change policies also have a major economic component. As we seek to accomplish these goals, there's an opportunity to create jobs. We need to focus our efforts on addressing climate change problems, but we also need to create jobs, and there's a chance to do that if we employ the best minds in the area, people that are well-versed on the subject. We need to employ the best minds to move our state forward. It is important to continue this job creation trend that we have begun in California and to capitalize on the economic potential with help of experts in the fields. SB 189 will ensure that the state moves forward with a clean energy and greenhouse gas related policy approach to our job market and help it to continue to thrive, and our state will definitely improve and our economy will grow. We have here today Justin Fenslau representing the United Steelworkers, the California Association of Electrical Workers, the Pipe Trades, and the Western States Council of Sheet Metal Workers, and also Reed Addis representing Bloom Energy.
Your first witness, please.
Good afternoon. Justin Fanzaw, as the Senator said, on behalf of the California State Association of Electrical Workers, the Western States Council of Sheet Metal Workers, the California State Pipe Trades Council, and the Coalition of California Utility Employees. We actually don't represent the iron workers, but if they're in support, we'll speak for them too. Thank you, Senator, for introducing the bill. As you know, what we've seen with the RPS procedure is that the 300,000 jobs in the state created that are doing good, clean energy. What we've also learned over the years is that we need to take the lessons that have come out of the last RPS bill, and as we move forward into our new process now, and apply those lessons. And having this council ensures that we are balancing the jobs that we're losing with the jobs that we're creating, because there are jobs that are going to go from dirty to clean. So this committee is important to make sure that the training that needs to occur for some of those employees who may be shifting in the application of their job into the new green technology, and ensuring that those jobs are staying here in California. So we thank the Senator for introducing the bill and look forward to working with everyone on the entire package. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair and members. Reed Addis on behalf of Bloom Energy in strong support today. We're one of those companies that creates the technologies that was generated from your efforts, especially some years ago when you passed AB 32. We create an energy technology that helps customers generate low GHG energy on site. We're one of many here in California that have been spurred by the state and the governor's leadership. We appreciate the effort of the author today because in addition to those regulations and policies you pass, it's also helpful to make sure you're also thinking about the jobs, because not all the jobs are created equal. Jobs created in California, I think, are a little bit better, and I think you would agree. We think the effort that Senator Hueso is putting forward allows the state to really think about that, coordinate, try to identify how we maximize the job benefits here in California from these various energy and climate programs. So we're in strong support. I will also mention, because I did get at the last committee, Senator Hill asked me a question about where we were located, and I tried to avoid that question. But since you, sir, today are chairing this committee, I will have to actually say that we are part of your district, not Senator Hill's. So with that, I close. Thank you.
Oh, no.
Others in support of SB 189, please come forward.
Mr. Chair and members, Brian Early on behalf of Environmental Defense Fund in support.
Thank you.
And on behalf of California Lake Conservation Voters in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Katrina Robinson on behalf of Edigen and CalSTART in support. Mr. Chair and members, Danielle Lynch on behalf of Audubon, California, and the California Association of Conservation Corps in support of this legislation.
Olivia Regalia on behalf of Sierra Club California in strong support.
Thank you. Supporters, opposition to SB 189. All right, no one. Questions? The staff report raises several questions that were not addressed in your comment. One, I guess it's unclear if the current advisory committees that exist right now in the PUC and the Energy Commission, is that the Blue Ribbon Committee going to supersede those? How's that relationship going to be when this permanent and formal committee is established?
I think all these questions are answered, first of all, for the amendments that we're accepting. I'm sorry.
No amendments.
There was amendments that were made.
No, there were no amendments.
What? Right there. Oh,
That's an old one.
I think it's the
so
next
this
bill.
doesn't, okay. Okay, well, let me begin by answering your question. First of all, on the issue of its importance in relation to other committees. Given what's happening not only around the world but in California, and how California has begun to make huge strides in energy policy and in reducing greenhouse gases, this bill brings to the forefront the state's willingness to engage on that issue, and making that issue a principal factor in which the state will focus. This bill will work with other agencies, committees, and other groups to try to create a synergy among them to focus on public policy making in the area of protecting the environment and creating jobs. So let me give you an example. Every department generates a report every year. This group has the opportunity to review these reports and see what those agencies are doing with regards to protecting the environment and creating jobs. There was some confusion in the end about the bill generating too many reports, and the way it was written, it does generate some question whether this committee itself will be generating reports. If anything, our vision that this group will work with those agencies that do generate an annual report and have them include in their annual report some recommendations or a response in terms of what they're doing to help stimulate job growth while they're trying to address issues of environmental concern in our state. So if you can imagine different departments and different bodies that already are working on their respective silos toward to achieve their goals within their mission, this committee will allow them to incorporate some of these goals that our state is highlighting as important to our state within their policies for implementation.
So the Blue Ribbon Committee will give recommendations to Energy and PUC and Air Resource Board and all the other 15 agencies. Then the 15 agencies will respond to those recommendations, as well as their independent.
Right, it's an advisory body, so they can take their recommendations, or not much like many of our boards are advisory bodies, but they will at least be able to analyze work that different departments are doing to give them advice into how to better perform their jobs in order to protect the environment and to create jobs. So it's going to be a very specific line item that will be added to their reports and their implementation strategies that include protecting the environment and creating jobs.
I think one of the concerns that was raised is that I'm not sure that all of those 15 agencies right now must produce a report every year. They may report on an ad hoc basis, but it seems that the plain language is that now the Blue Ribbon Commission will comment or participate, and then each of these agencies who's going to be reducing a report, and we don't know about there's no provisions for
and you're right,
overlapping.
and we'll clarify that. We'll clarify that to include those agencies that produce reports. But this is an advisory body, and they also can issue recommendations in a written format to those agencies so they can implement a strategy. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, Senator Wojciechowski, I think your point is well taken, and part of the lessons learned here is that the legislature taking action and leaving a regulatory body to simply start doing things that we think are or may not think are working. This is an opportunity for the legislature to establish in the new process forward that there is a working function that's unified amongst all those various committees, and the legislature also has an opportunity to be more in tune with what those regulated bodies or regulatory bodies are doing, and making sure that we're paying attention to new technologies, new opportunities to achieve the energy goals that you set in the various policies that we pass in the legislature.
And I guess the other little thing is, I know that there's no per diem, but they actually have expenses, and since we've tied the purse strings on greenhouse gas emissions very closely to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, I don't know if that's, who's going to pay those bills as they come up. I presume, I don't know. I don't know. It's highlighted, and it should get our attention.
Usually within bureaucracies, right, because our state is a bureaucracy, and we do have different departments that did have different expense line items. Because it will be administered by both the governor and the legislature, and the governor who has the responsibility to appoint the directors and the staff that are going to carry out the goals of the legislature and the administration. There'll be a process that can be established administratively to create a line item account in terms of if we decide to put this Blue Ribbon Committee under the auspices of the Cali PA, they can kind of establish either a location or a way to charge other departments if larger work is generated, to kind of cover that in a way that fulfills some level of their requirement of their organization to create, to fulfill their mission. So I think there's a way to do this very efficiently without necessarily creating, a big budget.
Yeah.
And it can be done very efficiently.
All right. Other questions of the author?
Comment, question.
You have a question? A comment by Senator
yeah.
Bates.
I did abstain on the Business and Professions Committee specifically because I do believe it should be more directive. I think it's a noble approach, Senator, but I think it needs to have more direction in terms of the way these existing committees actually communicate through this one, which, based on your presentation, is the one that's going to report directly to the legislature. And I have found through that committee that many of our agencies or committees or commissions operate in silos, and we're not getting information in time, perhaps too late, to correct some of the issues that have come up with a variety of our agencies. That's one concern, so I'd like it to be more directive on how that communication process will work, so that would be an amendment I'd like you to consider. Okay. Number two, I do think in terms of jobs that will be lost as we move to totally green energy, that we need to have someone who's involved with education, because this has to start with our younger generation who are pursuing careers and understand with our education experts how that's going to change in curriculum or our tech schools. So I think someone on the committee, one of the appointees, really should have that expertise too, because it needs to be very integrated. Or again, you have ideas over here that never get communicated and implemented in our education system, and that would be, I think, very helpful. So I'd like you to just consider, in terms of the commission or the committee membership, that you expand it a little bit.
I value your ideas very much.
Yeah,
I like that one. I'd love to get your input, and I'd love to work with you on this bill to fashion it in a way that really achieves its goal. And I think the most important thing that can come out of this process, if we really do succeed in convening some of the best minds in our state to advise us based on their ability to obtain the best information available to them today on how to guide us toward this goal, the best thing that could come out is if they formulate a policy that can rise to our level legislatively or administratively, So those ideas can come into being and to be implemented and to result in achieving their intended purpose. So
Great.
anything that we can do
I
that.
look forward to that. We had a presentation this morning from Southern California Gas, and it was really quite interesting to hear the concerns they have with the younger generation being able to move into what they are addressing in terms of clean energy. And so I think it's really essential as we're rapidly moving towards this approach to our environment and to our energy needs. So great, let's talk and share some thoughts, and maybe you'll put some amendments. I'll lay off the bill again today because I don't want it to be translated as not thinking this is a noble approach, but
Yeah.
it lacks a few
Well,
things.
anything that we can do through our state government to create a public forum and to provide input and to create debate and have that result into a public policy change. I mean, we can really, we need to be fiscally prudent. We need to manage the taxpayer dollars very wisely. And in doing so, if we can come up with a policy that transforms our economy, that creates jobs and helps California grow, just think the benefit that can come out of this process if we do it correctly. So I agree with you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I move the bill.
There's a motion. Any further close?
I respectfully ask for your support today.
Please call the roll.
Item 6, SB 189 by Senator Hueso. The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wykowski?
Aye.
Wykowski, aye. Gaines? Bates? Hill? Jackson? Leno?
Aye.
Leno, aye. Pavley? 2-0.
All right, we'll keep the roll open for the absent members, which are plentiful. Our next bill, Senator Hueso, is line item number 12, your drinking water